Welcome to Ion Plainsboro. My name is Anthony Kankfer. I'm the Township Administrator, and today I'm fortunate to be joined by Les Varga, our Director of Planning. And we're going to talk about good planning and sustainability. And Plainsboro has been doing that for many decades, and I'm going to talk to Les about some examples of good planning, sustainability. Les, why don't you tell us what you've been up to for the last 5 or 6 years with regard to good planning and sustainability?
Well, it typically refers to the development process here in town where we encourage developers to use sustainable forms of energy. That seems to get the biggest bang for the buck right now. And solar energy is among the top issues that we try to push and encourage people to do. Solar panels on property, on roofs, that they can actually not only power their buildings, but then also send some of that electricity back to the grid. Now, in terms of electricity, we also encourage electric vehicles in town where we can. There are a number of private developers, corporate developers here in town that have had electronic vehicle charging stations, in their locations.
Such as?
Well, Munich Re has done it. There is another station over at by the hospital, by their energy plant.
Okay.
NRG has an electronic vehicle charging station there. And then they also have the solar panels. There are a number of solar panels here in town. Munich Re has done that. They're really the gold standard. Firmenich has done it as well. A number of the university's buildings have solar panels on top. And then you have them out in the fields as well. And there's a number of projects right now that are pending that will have solar panels built on the properties as well. So you'll see that more and more in town here.
Now, my understanding is in the state of New Jersey, there's an organization called Sustainable Jersey that deals with setting action items up for municipalities to try to achieve a higher level of environmental and energy standards. And they recently have branched out into the schools. Why don't you just talk a little bit about that? I know you're taking leadership on that.
Well, Sustainable Jersey is an organization of essentially a private partnership with a lot of the energy companies, some developers in town as well. And what they've tried to do is kind of really set the bar, set a relatively high bar for all kinds of things in terms of water quality management, for electricity and other energy sustainability. They're really kind of at the forefront right now. Out of the 565 municipalities in New Jersey, about half, 204, actually have certification with Sustainable Jersey. Plainsboro, of course, is one of them. We're actually starting our third round of certification. Certification lasts for 3 years. Okay. So at the end of this certification round, we'll be doing it for about 9 years. But as you mentioned, Plainsboro's been doing this long before that. Through the master planning effort, through the conservation element of the master plan, we've encouraged at every step of the way energy efficiency in buildings with lighting, light bulbs, with using different types of glass that insulates better so that the cool areas stay cooler longer, that the warm areas stay warmer longer, thereby reducing your demand on electricity. So we've been doing that for many, many, many years. Same thing with stormwater management, actually letting the water percolate back into the ground and recharge the water table as opposed to running off into our stream courses right now. So Plainsboro has been doing it for a long time. So really the Sustainable Jersey edition, that was really just kind of getting credit for stuff that we've been doing for quite a while.
And it's no accident where we're located today. We're in the municipal parking lot, right behind the recreation building, and behind us is, why don't you tell us what's behind us, and then maybe we could talk about what's next to us.
Well, this kind of goes back to Plainsboro willing to walk the walk. We've encouraged businesses to use electronic vehicles for their staff, for their fleets, and Plainsboro has been able to take the step because we've been able to find some funding that would help us to actually put in charging stations. And we've done that through a settlement agreement. And then we've also been able to purchase the electronic vehicle that we're standing in front of right now. Again, to show folks and actually to save power for the town as well, that the electronic vehicle is really here to stay.
And if you don't mind, I'm just going to tell people a little bit about these charging stations. And these charging stations were, as Les said, a result of a settlement of Volkswagen that made grant money available that would allow municipalities to install what's considered level 2 chargers. We have 3 of them. There are 2 chargers at each of the pumps. So our thinking here was that we would allow this not only for public use, but also for municipal use. So the public can come here, take their phone app, wave it in front of this screen, and their identity would be coming on the screen, and a bill would be sent to them. There is a charge to cover our electric cost, but we have opened up these 6 charges to the public to use. On the municipal side, we're going to be doing something called market transition. We're going to try to minimize the amount of gas internal combustion engines that we have in our fleet to ones just like this, which is a Nissan Leaf 2020, and it's 100% electric. It's not a hybrid where it's half gas and half electric. It's not a hybrid where you go home and plug in the electric component. It's 100% electric. There's no gas tank, there's no oil, there's no spark plugs. And the beauty of this vehicle, we are fortunate enough to get 2 grants. One $4,000 grant from the State Board of Public Utilities, and one $10,000 grant from the organization that Les spoke about, which is called Sustainable Jersey. So right now, this is what's considered a pool car. It's used by any staff that have to go anywhere in town. It has a range of up to 150 miles without a charge. At the end of the day, or when a charge is needed, people come and they park the vehicle, and I'll show you in a minute how to charge it. But our objective at this point, from a municipal fleet point of view, as we retire gas engines, is to replace them one for one with an electric vehicle. And over the next 5 years, we hope to replace primarily the vehicles that are used by our inspectors to go to businesses and homes in town with electric vehicles that will look very much like this. And hopefully we'll be able to get grants to offset the cost. So with decades of good planning, an organization called Sustainable Jersey that were very generous with a grant for this and the Board of Public Utilities, we're able to purchase our first electric vehicle off our state contract, which means that we get it below manufacturer suggested retail pricing, $3,000 less. And then the grants on top of that, we got a real good deal for our money here. As far as charging it, I'd like to just show you quickly how to do that. I'm going to go over here, and this is one of our chargers. It's called Level 2. It's a dual charger, so one car could park here, a municipal or private, and one could park there. And you literally take your key. In our case, we have a key with a little fob. And what you do is you wave the fob here, and this will identify this vehicle to our billing account. And then you literally just take out the charger, walk over to in this case, the front of the car, lift the little flap, and insert it in the charger. And then you can walk away and be back in 4 hours. 4 hours will give you probably a half a charge, depending on where the charge is, or you can leave it in for 6 hours and get a full charge. And at the end of the day, you're good for another 150 miles. So that's how easy it is. This tells you it's charging now, and it will tell you when it's done. We'll get a printout of who came and who was public, our vehicle, and who was private. So Les, I don't know if you want to talk about anything else regarding how you're approaching this year's application for Sustainable Jersey with the electric vehicle, whether or not we'll get credit for that.
We will actually get some credit in one of the tasks that Anthony mentioned earlier. So when we do have the electronic fleet task that we've been looking at, we can get a number of points because this is an all electric vehicle. So there is, as Anthony mentioned, no gasoline being used here. So with that all electric vehicle, we will get some points for our Sustainable Jersey credit, and that will add up to hopefully another certification round.
So today I wanted to let everybody know about Plainsboro's good practices both on planning and sustainability. The fact that we have level 2 chargers that are open to the public 24 hours a day. You're welcome to use them. And the fact that Plainsboro is going through what I consider a market transition from gasoline engines to 100% electric vehicles. Thank you very much for joining Ion Plainsboro, and Les Varga, thank you very much for joining me with this session. Thank you.